Simple.
I've talked before.
For me, have you talked?
Talking in a microphone. That's all you got to do.
That's all you got to do.
talk.
Go live. Going live on the Insta.
Act like it's easy, but I don't. Andy does everything.
For now, but you're going to learn.
I will.
You are going to learn.
I'm up for it.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. You're listening to the Grow Clinton podcast. Grow Clinton is a 501c6 nonprofit economic community development and tourism organization based in Clinton, Iowa. For more information, visit growclinton.com. Again, that's growclinton.com. Now, back to the show. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the greatest podcast on the planet Earth. That's right, folks, the Grow Clinton podcast, brought to you by Grow Clinton, small nonprofit organization located in Clinton, Iowa, on the far east edge of the state, right along the Mississippi River. My name, as always, is Andy Sokolovich. I'm your host for today's show, joined by Jenny home from our office. Jenny, what's happening?
I'm getting a little sick and tired of talking about how cold it is.
Feeling sick and tired of being sick and tired because of the cold.
It's cold.
Suck it up.
I know.
You know what I mean, John. Suck it up.
We got a tough crowd here today.
Just embrace the suck.
That's right. Embrace the suck.
Embrace the suck.
It is cold, but you know what? I was driving around, and according to my truck, it was 12. That's good.
Heat wave.
Yeah, and then we have this for like 2 days, and then it's going to jump up to about 40 degrees, and before you know it, spring will be sprung.
Yes, we're going to be so busy.
We'll be complaining about the heat wave in July and August.
No way.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, in July you'll be wishing it was just cold.
Jenny, you know what else is hot?
What?
High-speed fiber internet. That's right, folks. The Grow Clinton podcast is sponsored by Miles Communications. Check them out, milestelephone.com. Again, that's milestelephone.com for all your high-speed internet needs. Milestelephone.com. I'm really excited about today's show, Jenny.
Me too. I'm in awe.
You're in awe. Why are you in awe?
Because this stuff is so interesting to me. And it's not stuff I know a ton about, but two military guys here talking about flight. It's pretty cool.
I was an air traffic controller. You, John, were
A bunch of different. A Marine.
A Marine in the aviation field.
Just a Marine.
So today we have John from Flight Deck Aviation on the show, located at Clinton Municipal Airport right here in Clinton, Iowa. John, thank you so much for joining us.
It is absolutely my pleasure. Glad to be here.
So, John, Flight Deck Aviation, a flight training school where you teach people how to become pilots. Before we start there, let's go back and give a brief overview of your history and what got you to where you're at today, teaching people how to fly airplanes.
Flying, when I was a smaller child, smaller than I am now. We grew up near a rural airport in northern Nevada, and small airplanes would fly overhead, and we'd fly overhead, and we could be outside doing a number of things. Usually it was my brother and I who were throwing dirt clods or something. And an airplane would fly overhead, and all our conversation would stop. And we would both go and look up like this and go, cool, airplanes.
Yeah.
And that sort of sparked a lifelong thing with flying and myself. In fact, when I was 8, my parents came up to me at my 8th birthday and said, you have a choice. There's a fly rod in this hand, and there's a flight certificate in this hand for a discovery, like my words, not his. Dad says, you go for a little airplane ride. What do you want to do? No contest.
Yeah, so you took the fly rod and went fishing. No.
There was some flying, yes, but there was not a rod involved.
There was not a rod involved.
So but that was just sort of like, went up there and I thought, this is going to be so much fun. I went airborne and I was scared like you can't believe.
I've been there, my friend.
My mom's hand is probably still never the same after that. I think she lost feeling in it for a while.
Do you remember what airframe you were in?
Cessna 172.
Cessna 172, classic.
Flown by Mr. Booth Bailey, who has long since gone on to rest. And man, that guy was an absolute gem in that community and fantastic pilot.
Yeah. So you fell in love with aviation, and then you joined the Marine Corps.
It did, yeah. So fast forward a few years, and then we joined the Marine Corps and
enlisted.
Enlisted, correct? Yeah, enlisted. And I foolishly thought that I could join and fly airplanes, and the recruiter said, "Of course you can be involved." in aviation.
Every recruiter tells you can do whatever you want.
You can be involved in aviation. So I'm like, "Oh, that sounds like a great idea."
Perfect.
And then And then I discovered that, yes, I am involved in airplanes, and it's going to be fixing airplanes.
That's right. So you were maintenance.
Maintenance, absolutely. So we were actually, and it was the level of maintenance where you're actually on the airplane, so you get to touch it. You're talking to the pilots, you're talking to air crew. It's a lot of fun.
So what airframe were you maintaining at the time?
The brand new Hornet.
Oh,
So
very
it was
wow.
F-18A, so they had just come into service, and they still had a lot of civilian tech reps, and it was cutting edge stuff. It was pretty cool.
So how do you feel about that? I mean, do you feel pretty glamorous?
This was really pre-Top Gun, so no, there was no glamour. It was just like super cool to be near an airplane.
Right.
That's all it was. There was no, and we went out there and we did CQ deaths because it was the training squadron. So you'd go out there to they'd go out to the ship, to the boat, and you do work with them, and you come back and do more training on land. And we went to Fallon, and we went to, so we were down in, all these different places. Just had a blast for 18, 19-year-old kid. There's nothing better.
Right.
Had a blast.
So then you went to school.
Yes.
And then became a commissioned officer.
That's correct. Yep.
And then from there, what were you doing?
Immediately after that was in the EA6B community. Went to flight school down in Pensacola. So for Marines, once you graduate, you go down to this thing called TBS. TBS is a very catchy thing. It's called the Basic School.
Wow, I would have never guessed.
I know.
Well, they
Too
keep
easy.
it simple.
Yeah, keeping it simple.
You're exactly right. So go to TBS, and after TBS, because all Marine officers go through TBS to get that basic training on how to become Marine officers, become infantry platoon commanders, essentially. After that, you get your MOS assigned to you and your job assigned to you, and you go down to Pensacola. In my case, it was down in Pensacola. Went down there and went through the Naval Flight Officer pipeline, and then went on from there to be, I got picked for Prowlers, which is the electronic warfare jet.
Little radar jamming action.
Exactly right. Radar jamming, listening, missile shooting, all that kind of good stuff. Went to Whidbey Island for a little while, and then went to the fleet.
You say Aviano? You went to where?
Whidbey Island.
Oh, okay. I thought
Whidbey
you
Island.
said Aviano.
And then later Aviano.
Yeah, beautiful spot, huh?
It absolutely is.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, be a good place. There's good vineyards there and great wine. I'd go back.
So you served how many total years in the Marines? Active duty?
You make me do math in public. 30 years.
30
Wow.
years.
Yep.
And you retired at the rank of?
Colonel.
Full bird colonel.
Full bird. Yep.
Thank you.
Absolute
Yeah,
pleasure.
that's awesome,
No,
man.
and I tell you, people say that to us all the time, and really, and which of course appreciate. Thanks.
Yeah.
But I think the thanks needs to go to the wives and the
Mm.
kids who are a lot of times stuck with in wives' case, giving birth, taking care of kids, moving houses, taking furniture, all that other stuff while we go off and do our thing. At least it was something
Commitment.
she gave birth to more than one child all by her lonesome. Moved, I don't know how many. If you told her, she'd probably moved like 48 houses, but really I think it's like only 20 something.
Oh, that's a lot.
Wow.
That's a lot of moving.
That's a lot of moving, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a lot of good time. But she had fun. It was a great time for both of us.
Whole family commitment.
Yeah, absolutely. The kids to this day can pack a box in record time.
Oh, I'm sure.
When all the other kids at college are like, "Oh, I gotta move rooms," kids are the boys are already like packed up, moved on. Like,
I've never unpacked. I've been living out of this box the whole time.
They got suitcases and boxes on wheels for crying out loud. So they're totally good.
So now you come to the great city of Clinton, Iowa. You realize that Clinton Municipal Airport is there and well positioned to take on a flight school. And you start flight deck aviation. Let's talk a little bit about the school itself and then break down what you can expect when you become a student of flight deck aviation, some of the career opportunities that exist when you receive your pilot's license, and then how long the training takes and what the cost is for that.
Good. Let's talk about cost first, because that's usually one of the big questions that people have got in their heads is like, okay, so this all sounds fun, John, but what does it cost me?
Right.
For a private pilot to fly, and you'll get about 65 to 70 hours is what it takes for folks to become flight hours, not like lapsed hours. Mm-hmm. You'll get there in about 65, 70 hours, and it'll cost you right about $18,000. Mm-hmm. And it will take anybody from 6 months to a year to do that. So you'll do the math. You're like, oh my gosh, $18,000. That's a lot. Yeah, I mean, for someone who's got the discretionary income, that is a lot of money. But really, it's more of an investment in what a lot of these folks are going to do this flying thing for a career.
Well, when you think about it too, $18,000. If you're going to take your family on a vacation, if you're going to entertain yourself doing anything, how much is that going to cost you over the course of a couple of years? And look, you have something that'll last you a lifetime instead of just pictures.
Yep, exactly right. Yeah, exactly right. You nailed it. Because of the America, guess how many people are in America right now? What's the population of America? Any idea?
I have no idea.
300 million.
340 million people. Mm-hmm. Of those,
I was going to say 300. I was right there, close to you.
You're close. Yep. Not many of them live here in Clinton, but that's okay for now. That's okay for now.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, right.
I
like the size of our town.
That's another story. 800,000 people on average are pilots. So if you do the math in public, that's less. It's about one. Boy, it's not many people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like less than 1%.
Right.
Less than 1% of the American public can say that they are pilots. And once you get your pilot's license, it's there. You've got it for life.
Forever. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't go away. It never stops happening. You have to make sure you get more training to keep it current, but it stays with you forever.
Yeah.
So when they come out here, we will encourage folks to look at our website. If they call, if they come out, the first thing we have them do is I kind of give them the quick rundown on here's the training. This is not something you can just go, here, I want to become a pilot, because you want to make sure that folks are safe.
Read this book.
First and foremost, read this book, follow this course, take this training, stop hitting the microphone, and you'll get there. Yeah. So they spend, if someone's flying every day, every day, but about 2 or 3 times a week, they will get through the process in about 4 to 6 months, weather depending.
Right. Very cool. Again, we're talking to Jon from Flight Deck Aviation, located here at the Clinton Municipal Airport, right along Highway 30 as you're heading out of town on your right-hand side. You can't miss it. And we're discussing the school, the costs associated with the school, and what's to be expected if you do decide to become a pilot. So talk to me a little bit about the career opportunities that are available once you receive your pilot's license.
So once you receive a pilot's license, I'll say people say that's your license to learn. Because if I'm a private pilot, there are some things I can do as a private pilot. I cannot go to Southwest Airlines and go, I'm your pilot now, because you've got a long road to go before that. So, but what you can do is you can fly a light airplane under 18,000 feet for just about anywhere in the United States. You take you and we all three get in an airplane, and we can just go down to Kansas City.
And you go back to the cost there. How much does that save you? I mean, not just money, just road time. Time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Your opportunity that you're going to spend about 2 hours and 15 minutes flight time from here down to Kansas City, and you're going to burn. It's the cost for fuel and the miles per gallon is probably comparable, but the time that you're going to, how long does it take you to drive from here to Kansas City?
6 hours. Yeah.
Probably close to it.
Yeah. 3 to Des Moines and another 3 down there. Yeah. So you're going to do that in a fraction of the time. You're going to get on the ground. You're going to be much more refreshed. Mm-hmm. You have more time in your hands, and you've still got all that time. Then you can and plus just the experience. Mm-hmm. If you drive, a lot of us, we've driven all of our lives. It's fun. But there's only so much between I-80 and here in Des Moines that you can talk about after once or twice. But I can guarantee you, we fly ourselves down to Kansas City, we are going to have some discussion, and you're going to go, this is so cool.
Yeah, it is cool. I mean, I've had the opportunity to fly in multiple airframes, not just commercial jets transporting me from spot A to spot B, but I flew in a T-38 and I flew in an F-15D model. It was a 2-seater.
Nice.
I had the opportunity to do that. When I was stationed at Holloman Air Force Base, there was a test group that had one of those bad boys, and that was pretty cool. Yeah. And then I've flown in 172s and a few other civilian-style airframes. I will say that being on an Air Force base and being an air traffic controller, it is always difficult to coordinate and to blend in a Cessna 172 on a fighter base. But we would do it. But there was times where a lot of the civilian pilots were just burning holes in the clouds, waiting to come in for an approach.
Does Holloman have more than one runway?
Yeah.
Do they have parallels?
Intersecting.
Bummer.
But they had Aero Club over at the Civilian Airport, White Sands.
So you got somebody who's doing about 250 knots.
Yep. Back
versus
then
someone who's
we
doing
had
about 75.
Yeah, back then we had F-117 stealth fighters. We had the test group that had a couple of airframes, and then we had helos, and we had German Tornados and F-4s. The test group also had QF-4s. It was a busy airport, and it was insane. And then you have Holloman Tower. This is so flying at 75 knots wants to come in and do an approach.
Yeah,
And you'd
or
be
multiple approaches.
Yeah, and you'd be like, oh, you're really low on the priority list right now.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. But I'm excited to have this. This is one of the things when I moved here back in 2012, 2013 timeframe. I remember calling the Clinton Municipal Airport at one point, just seeing if there was any career opportunities there for me. Because and my wife at the time, who also was an air traffic controller, and she still is out there. She's the airport manager. Marlena does a fantastic job out there at the Clinton Municipal Airport. But we did wonder if they had a flight school. And at the time, they had an Aero Club. And I think that kind of fizzled out. So
They still got it.
they still have it. Okay.
The Aero Club is still there. They've still got, in fact, one of the plane they've got is another 172.
Okay.
That's been there, I think, Mike Nass, who had the flight school probably 2 iterations before me,
Right.
had it, sold it to the club, and then they fly that still.
Oh, good.
They're still out there. So the club is still out. They're still active.
Okay,
So
so
lots of great opportunities.
if you're going to take lessons, what does that look like? What does your first lesson look like?
Oh, the first lesson is so much fun.
What is it?
Okay, so the first lesson is first of all, you come in a room like this, only without as many microphones and cameras, and you sit with the instructor, and he says, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get you an airplane. You're going to sit in this seat. We're going to talk to these people. I'll walk you through what a pre-flight looks like, because you pre-flight the airplane very thoroughly before you go up. Again, safety is first. And then you get in the plane, and then the instructor will start, taxi, and take off with you in the driver's seat, in the pilot seat. And then once you get up to altitude safely, he'll turn the controls over to you if you're ready to do that, and you'll turn, you'll yank, you'll bank, you'll do all those things. You'll get the feel of the airplane, fly over the town, fly over wherever you need to see, under that constant supervision of the certified flight instructor, or the CFI. After that, you're like, this is awesome. I love it. And he's like, good, I'll take the controls back. He takes controls back, and then he brings you back to land. And you get out, and he's like, so what do you think? And you go, that was the best experience I've had in a long, long time. I want to continue to be a pilot. And then we sign you up, we get you on the schedule, and you begin the training.
Now, I know that at my house, during the summer especially, because we're out all the time, but the planes are going, and I can almost pick the pattern, but they go day, and then it seems like all kinds of different times of day as you progress. So there's nighttime, daytime, and that's pretty cool.
So we're going to make sure we know where you live, and we'll just make it, let's put your
There we
house
go.
on a pattern so that we'll...
Oh, there you go.
go.
That's what happens
We'll
when
see
you
it.
talk with your hands
Yeah,
in a
green-
podcast studio.
I'll keep my hands down.
Hands down.
I have a green roof, and I always feel like they pick out my roof.
I'm sure they
something.
do.
Yeah, it's
There's
a
always
metal.
visual references.
Yeah, that's it. Who knows? But we'll definitely do that now.
Okay.
But I would tell the instructors when we started the summer, because people would come out the airport and they would go, I didn't think I know that you guys had a flight school. And in fact, we're not even sure used to be I didn't know there's an airport out here.
Yeah.
What?
No,
Yeah.
we hear that a lot.
And I'm like, okay,
Wow.
so the instruction was, okay, when you take off, we go over Clinton, fly over there, do a couple laps around the town so that folks can hear the airplanes
Right.
and see what's going on. And they'll ask the question, where did that plane come from? They'll do a little bit of detective work, and they'll find there's a flight school at an airport in town.
Yeah. So what about ground school?
Ground school is super fun, man.
Yeah.
So we actually have
I went through ground school.
Okay, so good. So you're almost there.
I'm almost there.
You're
yeah.
almost there.
No, as an air traffic controller, they encouraged us to go through ground school because most of it, from the basic airport operations and the movement of the aircraft on the ground, and taxiways, runways, we knew most of it. So it was kind of an easy thing for us.
Yeah. So we've got we don't have in-person ground school yet, but we're going to.
Okay.
So the preferred method right now for a lot of folks, because it's a timing thing and works into their schedule better, is we use an online ground school. So it's professionally done. They log onto it on their computer. They do this training at their own speed. They can rewind. They can look at stuff over again. There's quizzes on there. And when they get done with that ground school, it spits out a little printout for them, and they take that printout to go take the written test, which is required by the FAA. School takes, if you really grind it out, it could probably take you maybe four months.
Yeah.
I've had folks do it in a lot less than that.
Oh, very cool. Again, we're talking to Jon from Flight Deck Aviation LLC. You can check him out at flightdeckaviationllc.com, or you can call him at 563-215-9170. Is there anything else, sir, you want our listeners to know?
I think that, a lot of folks don't realize how easy it is to get go up there and get a discovery flight.
Yeah.
You don't always not everybody who comes in will fly for life. Not everybody is going to have a pilot's license or is going to go on their instrument rating and do all those stuff. But folks can come out there and just experience the joy of flight. It is something entirely different to be raised in this town and grow up in this town, this area, and then get into an airplane and then go see it from the sky. It's a fun. I'll tell you, it's romantic because we've got folks that'll do this as husband and wife or boyfriend, girlfriend. They'll go up there and do that. It's an absolute blast.
Yeah.
And they just get a chance to see the town from a different perspective. And then seeing the looks on their face when they come back and go, that was so much fun.
And it's so cool because, for us, if we want to fly, we got to go down to Moline or Cedar Rapids or anything. So we never really go over our own town.
Yeah. Oh, now you can.
Now you can. That is so neat.
I'd say check out the website, and I appreciate the plug, flightdeckaviationllc.com. And that will get you, there's a form if you want to do some more information, seek some more information from us. There's a form to fill out there. The phone number is on the website. We've got some good pictures, kind of gives a little bit more information than you can get on the podcast. But come on out to the airport. It's no charge to come out there and just sit in the airplane, take a few pictures.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah, just come check it out.
So you guys have a 172, is that correct?
We've got two 172s,
Okay.
and they're newer.
Yeah, the one's pretty brand spanking new, right?
Well, relatively speaking, yes.
Okay.
So,
now airplanes, they're not like vehicles. You can still safely fly an older airplane, doesn't require as much maintenance, and these 172s are in top-notch condition.
Yep, they are. By design. It doesn't do us any good to have smelly, broken, mechanically poor condition airplanes. So these are 2001 and 2004 airplanes. Fully, we keep these things. I keep them. They're my planes, so I keep maintaining pretty well. We go up to Dubuque and get them done, so that they're not going to break. They're going to be totally safe because that's one less thing to kind of, put people's fears to rest.
Right.
And also when parents come out, because we've got kids that want to learn how to fly. Parents come out there, and if they're going to see what their kid's going to fly in, and it's collecting flies and there's bugs on the windshield and it looks bad and it smells bad.
Yeah.
That's going to turn them off. So when they come out there and it's clean, because we will have clean planes, we'll have ones that are well maintained, and they're going to be safely operated. Now,
Connor, who owns Legends here in Clinton, he's a pilot, I believe, correct?
Yep.
And his brother just graduated from your school, is that correct?
Well, they both just soloed.
Oh, nice.
So they both just soloed.
Now, what happens after you have your first solo?
What's
the tradition?
We have this little tradition where you cut the shirt tail off of the student. And the reason, do you know why we do that?
I don't. Go ahead.
Do you know why we do
No.
that? So the thought is, if you're a student pilot and I'm the pilot, typically in the old days you would sit front and back like this. And if the pilot who would sit behind the student wanted anything from the student wanted him to do, he'd reach up and grab his shirt and tug on his shirt tail.
Oh.
So once he was soloed, at that point, the pilot's like, hey, you're on your own, you're soloed. They would actually have the ceremony where they cut the shirt tail off of the student pilot, who is now solo qualified, and they sign the name on and go, there you go.
That's awesome.
And you write down the airframe and the dates.
Yeah.
And they have only in the business of air traffic control for 13 years, and I forget all this stuff.
That's all right.
The side number?
Yes. Thank you. Jeez,
It's okay.
That's okay.
I brain dump a lot of stuff.
You've got a lot of stuff on your plate. You put the side number down, and there's usually some artwork or, and the planes, for the record. So we've got two airplanes. The 2004, we call her Ruby. My boys actually named her Ruby.
Oh, very cool.
And then Betty is our other one. So we have Ruby
and Betty.
So yeah,
They'll take good care of you.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they both soloed. Looking forward to get them into the cross country and get them into their check rights so they can become full-fledged licensed pilots.
Very cool. No, awesome.
Nice.
I love it. Again, flightdeckaviationllc.com. If you wanted to stop by and visit, you can cruise on out to the Clinton Municipal Airport. located off of 60th Street, I believe.
Yep.
In Clinton, Iowa, right down along Highway 30 on your right-hand side. You can't miss it. If you go past at night, there's this thing called a rotating beacon. Just look up at the sky and you'll find it. Check them out again, Flight Deck Aviation LLC.com. Jon, thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Jenny, you got big plans for the rest of the week?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to be busy all week.
Hey, we got a day where we got 2 podcasts coming up.
I know.
Ooh-wee.
We do.
Man, people
Popular.
are loving the pod.
They love the pod.
All right, everybody. This is Andy Sokolovich, President and CEO, Grow Clinton. You guys have an amazing rest of your week. We'll talk to you soon. See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Grow Clinton podcast. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on all your socials. Until next time, see ya.
All right, we'll end their stream there.